Members' motion with no legislative effect. Members who wish to speak, please press the request to speak button. The Council will proceed to a debate on Mr. Chan Pok-chi's motion on aligning with the outline of the National 15th Five-Year Plan to drive the agriculture and fisheries industries towards high-quality development. Two members will move amendments to the motion. This Council will proceed to a joint debate on the motion and the amendments. I will first call upon Mr. Chan Pok-chi to speak and move the motion. Then I will call upon Mr. Jonathan LEUNG and Mr. Aaron Bok to speak in sequence, but they may not move the amendments at this stage. The joint debate now begins. I now call upon Mr. Chan Pok-chi to speak and move the motion. Mr. Chan Pok-chi. Thank you, President. I move that the motion as printed on the agenda be passed. The outline of the National 15th Five-Year Plan provides express direction to expedite the development of the ocean strong nation and a strong nation of agriculture as well as fisheries. We need to plan for high-quality development to promote ocean economy. Hong Kong is the super connector and super value adder connecting the mainland to the world. We must be visionary and incorporate the development of fisheries and agriculture industries into the Greater Bay Area development as well as a national strategy. I have three suggestions. First, we need to take forward modernized agriculture and fisheries development through the use of technology. The National 15th Five-Year Plan promotes AI Plus and supports Hong Kong's development into an international R&D center. Now, the budget this year also carries initiatives relating to AI plus industries. And in the second half of this year, the AI R&D Institute in Hong Kong will be commissioned. The R&D Institute will bring hope to technical transformation of the agriculture and fisheries industry. We're short of manpower. We also face other challenges such as climate change and regional market competition. There is a need to make a change, and I believe we do have a unique advantage when it comes to collaboration among the government, industry, academic, and R&D sector. We can modernize the industry. In fact, last Saturday, I attended the first Oyster Fest in Hong Kong in Lau Fau Shan, held by Hong Kong U, and I received a lot of suggestions from the sector, including a licensing mechanism to improve the up and downstream industry chain and promote the brand. We can also develop tourism. In fact, we have a lot of potential. In fact, in the beginning of this year in Guangdong, Zhanjiang, because of weather changes in an oyster farm, only 10% of oysters survived. And according to a study, it had to do with rise in sea temperature in winter and high salinity. And this is the cause of the problem. Whereas for the super oysters cultivated by the Hong Kong U, the survival rate reached beyond 60%. And that's because we have good selection process, and we provided a very good environment to cope with extreme weathers. And this is one way out for us to promote high-quality development. Through this collaborative approach, we can also apply the technology to animal husbandry. We can use AI system to monitor the health of animals. We can also use thermal imaging and IoT equipment to implement 24-hour monitoring systems. We can also have drones to inspect the pig farms and poultry farms. In fact, the AFCD signed an MOU with the CATAS, and that's the China Agricultural Institute on Tropical Studies, and that's a major step towards our contribution to our country's R&D capability. Earlier, when President Xi visited Guangdong and visited a farm growing lychee, he said that we must further boost technologies on the high yield crop production and storage with better technology. In fact, there is now a breakthrough. We can keep the lychees fresh for longer and keep them brightly colored and sweet. with the new technology, we can now extend this period from 10 days to 42 days so that lychees remain fresh because of the research of the Chinese Academy of Tropical Agricultural Sciences. We also have our unique strength in terms of our cold chain storage as well as maritime transport. We can help enhance the competitiveness of local produce. We can also collaborate with mainland R&D institutions using our fish culture zone as a demonstration zone. We can select better varieties and promote our product. Now, my second suggestion is this. If we want to groom the agriculture and fisheries industries in Hong Kong, we must have regard to the mainland market. I hope the government will make a request to the central authorities so as to expand the scope of admission for local produce to enter the mainland market as a facilitation measure so that we can further align our standards with the mainland standards and that we can expand our market. We can also combine our strengths with those in other major mainland cities so that we can go global together. We also enjoy another unique strength, and that's we are economically independent. We are a member of the WTO. We also signed MOUs with Southeast Asian countries rich in fisheries resources. In fact, we have upgraded the extent of cooperation from just traditional trading to branding and supply chain cooperation. Through establishing processing centers, I hope that we can further promote the unified brand and exert a greater influence in the global market. There should also be a tax system to trace the origin along the chain of agricultural products with blockchain technology so that we can tackle the problem of local pig farms using, fake products using local pig farm accreditation. Now, in fact, the new law in the mainland has come into effect on the 1st of May, and for the first time, the maritime farms is now a new concept that runs in parallel with other concepts of green development. We should grasp this opportunity, leveraging on technologies such as drone inspection, maritime IoT technologies. We should build a good monitoring system to promote the development of marine ranches. The government should also actively promote the development of the San Pok-chi Wetland Conservation Park so that we build an eco-friendly cultivation system accommodating migratory birds and also wetland species, as well as high-yield crop production. Drawing on Hong Kong's experience in conservation, we can introduce the new agriculture model from the mainland and show the world that we can achieve this eco-balance and protect the maritime environment. On high value addedness, in July this year, the government will introduce a local unified brand for produce, local produce. There will be a certification system so that all products will be traceable. I hope that the government will actively liaise with hotels and chain restaurants, schools, suppliers, so as to encourage them to procure the new local unified brand of produce. By then, there'll be a strong basis of procurement, and this will drive the development of the industries in Hong Kong. We should also set up demonstration points and central kitchens to enhance our capacity. Now, the President, our country has laid out the 15th five-year plan, and we're going to draw up the first five-year plan for Hong Kong. The sustainable blueprint for the A&F industries have also been implemented. Altogether, we have unforeseen opportunities for the industries. We must grasp them. I so submit.
I now propose the question to you that the motion moved by Mr. Chan Pok-chi be passed. Mr. Jonathan Leung. President, We rely on imports for food ingredients supply in Hong Kong, but with complex geopolitics and climate change, and we now have different natural disasters, it has caused unstable supply in food ingredients in Hong Kong. It is important to enhance and develop the local agriculture and fisheries industries because it can directly affect the public. The Liberal Party has been calling for support in this regard. Right now, Hong Kong every day consumes 2,000 tons of vegetables, 3,000 pigs, and 21 tons of poultry. But we only have supply of fresh vegetables and live pigs of 20% and 10% respectively, as well as for poultry, 10,000 odd. The rest is imported. So the Liberal Party supports the upgrading and transformation of local agriculture and fisheries, and enhance cooperation with the mainland in terms of R&D and quarantine and inspection, so that we can have a buffer in supply of food ingredients locally. Right now, transportation is one of the major sources of emissions of greenhouse gases in the world. Promoting local agriculture and rearing can help lower carbon emissions. With limited land resources, it is hard to scale up production of local agriculture and fisheries, which is why we support the government's proposal to have multi-story facilities. In the mainland, it has been in development for quite some time. In 2023, in Hubei, we have the world's largest pig farm. It is 26 stories high, and every year it produces 1.2 million pigs. And it has automated facilities for feeding, temperature control, air purification, and disinfection. The pig feces can be centrally handled to be converted into energy. It has greatly enhanced production capacity and ensured quality of food. We are lagging behind. In 2032, we will have our first multi-story modernized pig farm. We still don't have any concrete plans for multi-story poultry facility. We need to mitigate risks of avian flu according to the administration, so we only have 10,000 odd live poultry per day. So these come at a very high price. It would cost $200 to $300. So most families can only afford chilled or frozen poultry. I hope the government will expedite the construction of the multi-story poultry facility to increase the supply of live chicken so that we can have affordable fresh chicken prices, just like for other poultry, such as ducks and gooses. We all attach great importance to food safety. There are regular inspections made by the AFCD to farms, and there are stringent standards to be met for quality accredited farms. And we will have a unified brand launch this year. We will have the Quality Assurance Agency accrediting certain products with text, and with the text scanned, citizens can identify the sources of the products. I hope the government can continue to make good use of technology and instill confidence in the people. In fact, the brand of Hong Kong products has all along been popular among mainland residents, so perhaps we can export our products to the mainland in future. The government has been working hard to encourage the local agriculture and fisheries, introduce new technologies such as deep sea mariculture and enhancing production capacity. But we need the government relax relevant restrictions to really make this happen. We had those in the sector wanting to have high intensive facility, but often they are accused of causing pollution and the projects could not move forward. I hope in future we will have a more transparent and more stable food supply so as to so that citizens can really benefit from this. I so submit. Speaking in support of the motion. Mr. Aaron Bach, thank you. President, I would like to thank Mr. Chan Pok-chi for proposing the original motion, and I am proposing amendments so that we can make good use of the Sanpo-Shu Wetland Conservation Park and refer to mainland's practices to build up ecotourism and leisure fisheries to make contributions to the local economy. In 2025, we have production of 2,314 tons, and it is worth $130 million in value. For pond aquaculture, it is 1,518 tons of production capacity. The government has promulgated support measures. For example, in December 2023, the government promulgated the Blueprint for Sustainable Development of Agriculture and Fisheries for the upgrading and transformation of agriculture and fisheries. In the blueprint, there are analyses about opportunities brought about by pond fish culture, and the northern metropolis can be used for such activities for intensification of production, and there is also supposed to be a demonstration zone for fisheries research and promotion of technology. I very much support the construction of Sanpo-Shu Wetland Conservation Park in this regard. Through active management and rotation of wetlands, ecological functions of the wetlands in Deep Bay can be enhanced, and it can also provide a location for ecotourism. It is important to make sure the operations are sustainable, and we must make use of technology for this and develop new quality productive forces. We have some suggestions. One, we should develop smart agriculture and fisheries, make use of Internet of Things, big data, and AI, etc. for production management and quality enhancement. We should promote trading of agricultural and fisheries products. We should have a comprehensive industrial chain. We should develop leisure fisheries as well as B&Bs in rural villages. This is how we can preserve traditional characteristics while creating new business opportunities, which is why I've been calling for making use of Sanpo-Shu Wetland Conservation Park so that visitors can have an immersive experience of agriculture and fisheries in their experience. And we should also have a development demonstration zone for integration of agriculture and fisheries. On top of the Sanpo-Shu Wetland Conservation Park, there are many ponds in the North District. If we plan well and make an ecological tourism network out of it, we have, those locations with flowers planted. We have also Sanpo village and different ecological locations that we can really combine ecology and tourism, which is why I've been calling for designing some ecological cycling or walking routes to connect different attractions and maybe ponds, as well as hiking trails or rural trails, so that we can have some tourism routes, and for different seasons we can have different activities. In the mainland, we have for fisheries ecotourism moving on from the traditional fishing tourism to high quality modernized tourism that combines fisheries, culture, and tourism. And it has generated great economic benefits. According to a 2024 survey, the relevant value in production is $99.3 billion renminbi. I urge the government to modernize agriculture and fisheries and provide more diverse content in tourism, to have fisheries ecotourism so that we can really showcase how humans can coexist with nature. It also shows the importance of sustainable development. I so submit Speaking in support of the original motion, I hope members can support my amendment.
Secretary for Environment and Ecology. Deputy President, I thank Mr. Chan Pok-chi for moving the motion debate. I also thank Mr. Jonathan Leung and Mr. Aaron Bok for moving their amendments, which confirm the major role played by the local agriculture and fisheries industry in high-quality and diversified development. Under the grant's perspective of the National 15th Five-Year Plan, the core positioning and objectives of the country's agriculture and fisheries development is to promote modernization of rural villages, safeguard food safety, as well as adhering to low-carbon, high-quality development. The Hong SAR government is actively aligning with the 15th Five-Year Plan in formulating our own five-year plan. The EEB and the AFCD are actively consulting the public, as well as stakeholders, to ensure that our five-year plan aligns with the country's strategies, as well as meets the needs of the industry. The Hong Kong SAR government is actively implementing the measures under the blueprint for the sustainable development of agriculture and fisheries to promote modernized, intensified, and high-quality transformation and sustainable development of the local agriculture and fisheries industry. The traditional local intensive industries are insufficient to meet modern society's need. We need to empower the transformation of the trade through technology. Now, through the measures under the blueprint, we are supporting the use of advanced production technologies. On agriculture, we are actively promoting urban farming and precision agriculture. With the Controlled Environment Hydroponic R&D Center, we are offering demonstration of technology for the trade. We are also building the livestock farming. We are also building the first multi-story modernized eco-friendly pig farm for the livestock farming industry in Shangshui with advanced biosecurity technology, setting a new benchmark for the trade. On fisheries, we are leading the trade to migrate to modernized deep-sea mariculture. Riding on the successful experience of the mainland, we are now adopting steel truss as well as HDPE cases with high resistance to wind and wave in our new fish culture zones to achieve highly productive culturing. And also, we have established a pond fish demonstration farm in Ao Tau Yuen Long with container eco-culture system culturing. We also plan to establish the Fisheries Research Center so as to turn Hong Kong into a major innovation and demonstration zone for modern fish culture in the Bay Area. To ensure that these transformative measures are implemented, we have set up the $1 billion Sustainable Development Fund for the agriculture and fisheries industry to provide financial support for the trade to lower the upfront costs for application of technologies. We are also utilizing our unique strength with the backing of the country and connection with the world to deepen our collaboration with the mainland governments, research bodies, and the trade. We are helping local quality agriculture and fisheries products to enter the mainland markets while helping the mainland trade to tap international market so as to better serve the country's development. The FCD has signed various memorandum of understanding with the Departments of Agriculture and Rural Affairs of Guangdong provinces, as well as other mainland government bodies, which cover technology, research and application, tariff exemption, talent training, as well as inspection and quarantine. And also, we have conducted mutual visits with the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs, as well as various departments of agriculture in provinces to facilitate communication. We are also organizing industry delegations to study new technologies in the mainland. In terms of tapping new markets, the AFCD has been communicating with different provincial governments through the Vegetable Market Organization. In May 2025, we have signed the cooperative agreement with the Departments of Agriculture and Rural Affairs of the Shandong Province to set up the remarkable Shandong Hong Kong Promotion Center in the Changsha Wan Wholesale Vegetable Market. We have also set up a Shandong Zone in the Farm Fest to help Shandong agricultural products to go overseas. The VMO will continue to promote trade talks with various organizations in the mainland. To enhance the competitiveness of local agriculture and fisheries products, we will launch the unified new brand for safe, low-carbon, and high-quality products with traceability and quality control so as to enhance the recognition and value added to local products and enhance the confidence of consumers. We are also promoting the development of leisure fisheries and agriculture. We have the Fish Enjoy and Agri Enjoy schemes, which have successfully helped fish rafts and inland fish ponds and farms to engage in ancillary businesses. Now, using the Agriculture and Fisheries Fund, we are allowing dual users of vessels to facilitate the switching of traditional fishing vessels to tourist boats for visitors to experience fishermen's culture. And also, the FCD has established a one-stop leisure, agriculture, and fisheries information platform to help the public find new leisure destinations, as well as enhancing the source of revenue for the trade. Now, while pursuing productivity and economic growth, we must adhere to green development. Using the Sampo Shu Westland Conservation Park as a pilot zone, we will establish a eco-friendly fish pond with the dual function of nature conservation and pond fish culturing. Now, with the eco-friendly aquaculture demonstration zone, we will showcase how to balance high-intensity fish culture as well as nature protection. Deputy President, in order to promote the high-quality growth of the industries, we need to align with the national blueprint as well as the efforts from various sectors of society. Now, just now I've highlighted our major work. We will listen carefully to members' views and give a consolidated reply during the closing stage. Thank you.
Mr. Stephen Ho. Thank you, Deputy President. I was a LegCo member serving the sector for 13 years before, so it is definitely in my expertise in a way. I would like to thank the SAR government for their support. Before, the Society of Hong Kong does not attach great importance to the sector, and now we have a blueprint, and we've heard the Secretary say what initiatives they have implemented in implementing the blueprint. I would still like to improve on something. I want them to move faster. We need to develop the local agriculture and fisheries. We need to make sure those in the sector can maintain their livelihood. Before we talk about protecting agricultural land is very hard, and it is only in the past 2 years we're able to have agritainment. And like Ms. Chen Hoyan said before, people will have to get licenses for strawberry farms. We need to make sure we relax the restrictions so that we can have new blood youngsters joining the sector. And with the poultry sector, we have recently some improvement for vet studies. We also have in F&B industry, we want to have hatching of chicken and pigs in Hong Kong. We have many pig farms and chicken farms in Hong Kong. What they produce is different, but they are called local products nonetheless. It is because we have imposed a limitation on licenses, so they have an incentive to sell less. We need to also try to enhance the quality of the ingredients, which start with the supply chain. Hong Kong should be unique in its development. If people are planting the same things, we cannot really make a breakthrough. We need to be unique. We need to do well in marketing. Say mushrooms. We want to say we have fresh mushrooms and they must be sold within 48 hours. Otherwise, they become not as good. And with Hong Kong, we have a 70% market share in the local market. That's a lot. We need to make sure our prices are affordable as well. 10 years ago in the Changsha controlled environment experimental base. We have experimented with salad vegetables, and it would cost $400 per kilogram for imported salad vegetables. Local salad vegetables would only cost $200. We need to make sure we tell the good stories of the sector like this. With the Changsha vegetable wholesale market, it is like an empty lot. It does not even have a fridge before. Now we have a refrigerator. We can't really compete with others before because, say, broccoli, we're consuming now maybe from 3 months ago. If we don't have a refrigerator, maximum these can only be stored for a week. So we need to make sure we have comprehensive infrastructure. I only have 30 seconds left. I want to talk about how locally we should not produce everything and sell everything. We need to make sure we trade the seeds. We need to have food safety certification and checking. We need to have public-private partnership to really generate benefits to subsidize the industry so that the government don't have to support the industry. We need to maintain flexibility within the sector. We need to encourage the local practitioners to move on. I so submit.
Ms. Elizabeth Quat. I thank Mr. Chan Pok-chi for moving this motion so that we have an opportunity to discuss how we can promote high-quality development of the A&F industry in Hong Kong. Now, President, the National 15th Five-Year Plan provides that Hong Kong should actively dovetail with national development strategies. We should make a breakthrough in terms of the production model of the A&F industry so that we can upgrade and transform. This is the core mission for Hong Kong to be integrated into the national development pattern of high-quality development. Hong Kong is an important coastal city of our country, but when it comes to the A&F industries, we don't work on a large scale, and that for a long time we have family businesses for the A&F industry, and there are also scattered farm sites across the new territories. There is a lack of support when it comes to using technology and promoting the industrial chain. We're also short of land resources. We have other restrictions such as nature conservation. We are not catching up with the national development standards of A&F industries. The 15th Five-Year Plan provides that we should work on 3 fronts, and that is developed high-tech agriculture, green agriculture, and build a brand. And we need to make a breakthrough. In order to dovetail with the national strategy, we need to leverage technology to promote industrial transformation and upgrading. That means we should change the existing production model. Our country in recent years has been promoting good seed variety and conservation of quality produce. We should modernize farming practices and adopt AI. And on this front, we can enhance the mode of agriculture and agriculture. At the same time, we should encourage local R&D institutions to develop smart farming equipment and also AI-driven monitoring system of water quality so as to enhance the yield in A&F production. This is how we change towards a tech-based production. This is also in line with the green and low-carbon development of our country. Now, according to the 15th Five-Year Plan, we should promote green farming and protect the marine environment. We should put sustainable development first. In Hong Kong, we have invaluable wetland and the coastline. We also have other eco-resources such as farm sites. We should promote urban-rural integration and better planning so as to introduce green production standards and promote organic farming without using pesticides and other forms of eco farming. And we can also support our country's development plan to enhance food production so that we can stabilize the supply of ANF produce. Now we can also enhance the competitiveness of our local ANF produce under our country's strategy of building a local unified brand. Hong Kong should catch up with our country's model, which is to allow the tracing of origin of agriculture products. Now we have the strong foundation of building a brand for the ANF produce in Hong Kong. In fact, in July, the government will put in place a new system for unified local brand with testing and certification as well as the tracing of origin. This will help us tap the mainland market. I think that we're heading in the right direction. I hope that this can be implemented smoothly. President, dovetailing with the National 15th Five-Year Plan and promoting high-quality development of the ANF industries do not mean disrupting the traditional industries. Rather, we are addressing shortcomings and enhancing our strengths. We're in the process of drawing up the first five-year plan. The government should enhance policy support by introducing technology to help with the industries so as to promote green and sustainable development and utilize technology to drive a higher value by building a brand. Mr. Moonkit, President, I speak in support of Mr. Chan Pok-chi's original motion. Now, our country has just promulgated the National 15th Five-Year Plan, and we are drawing up the first five-year plan for Hong Kong. Now, it is an opportunity for us to discuss ways to drive the ANF industries in Hong Kong towards high-quality development. It is also a very important topic for Hong Kong to enhance productivity in general. I think we should focus on three directions: tech empowerment, Greater Bay Area standards, and talents. On tech empowerment through technology, that means we should develop smart farming and fishing practices. Nowadays, we have to cope with extreme climate and market fluctuations. We should make use of technology such as AI and IoT in agriculture practices. For example, we can have precision feeding and smart water monitoring systems so that we collect data and analyze the data. Now, in the five-year plan, I hope that this idea can be included and we can build a demonstration zone for smart agriculture so as to attract new blood to the industry and that we can upgrade the image of the industry. The second suggestion, we should build a high-level certification mechanism dovetailing with the Greater Bay Area standards. We have an internationally recognized legal system. We also have a good food safety system, and that means we should build the Greater Bay Area standards targeting a bigger markets. For example, we can develop species with quality protein and fish high in omega-3 that are easily digestible, that will provide good protein source for the elderly, for example. We can work with local R&D institutions and develop products of this sort. This can help us tap the Greater Bay market or even the global market so that we can transform our institutional advantage into industrial strength. Third suggestion, we should focus on talent cultivation. Now, I believe that when it comes to upgrading of an industry, we need talents underpinning the development, and that means we should groom talents who are familiar with using AI and big data analytics to meet the needs of the ANF industries. and that A&F Tech should be included in the curriculum of STEAM education. We should promote collaboration between the academic sector and the industry so that we form an education-based high-tech development model for young people to have early exposure and to aspire to join the A&F industries. The government should continue to optimize the sustainable funds with a focus on tech application and product development. There should also be private investment as well. President, we want to enhance yield and quality. We also want to build better standards and bring value to the economy and groom talents. This has to do with our country's food safety initiatives. It also has to do with diversifying our economic development and integration into the country's development plan. I support the motion and amendments. Mr. Dennis Leung. President, I speak in support of Mr. Chan Pok-chi's motion. I also support the amendments moved by Mr. Jonathan Leung and Mr. Aaron Bok. Now, the 15th five-year plan provides that we need to enhance the comprehensive capacity of the agricultural industry and continue to promote green and low carbon transformation. We should improve food security and expedite upgrading and transformation of the industries. We must dovetail with the national plan. We're drawing up the first five-year plan. This is an opportunity for us to bring impetus to the A&F industries. In the past 30 years, the industries continued to shrink with a shortage of manpower and aging workforce. The A&F industries contribute little to our GDP. The government must make a breakthrough. Instead of being passive, the government should be proactive and visionary in adopting a tech-driven strategy so that young people will be willing to join the A&F industries. At the moment, it's short of manpower. We should modernize the industries through technology. The biggest obstacle facing the industry's modernization efforts are high investment costs especially at the early stage. We should build a future tech application center and introduce smart agriculture systems using IoT equipment and AI, etc., to identify species and monitor the health of fish. We should also bring more competitive pace for our young people joining the industries. Now, I'm concerned about training courses for the young people. In fact, we should run training courses concerning deep sea cages, aquaculture, and leisure farming, fisheries, as well as hydroponics, so that young people will be innovative in joining the industry and adopting new practices. The third point is that we should collaborate with the Greater Bay Area. We cannot sustain on our own. We need our motherland, and that is why we should set up co-op zones, adopting modernized A&F practices from the mainland so that we can control quality and build a brand. We can also leverage on technology to produce high-quality aquaculture and farming products. And these products can be exported through Hong Kong or supplied to the Greater Bay Area. The fourth suggestion is to build eco-aquaculture zones in the northern metropolis. In these priority zones, we can adopt a coexistence mode so that we keep fish and grow vegetables together, and we can also have A&F and ecotourism combined. This will provide a better experience for tourists. We can provide hostels, etc., for tourists to have a first-hand experience of the A&F industries here. The fifth suggestion is land reform. At the moment, we have deserted farmlands. The vacancy rate is over 80%, and there are also farm sites scattered in different places. There is a lack of infrastructure support. The government should consolidate these scattered farm sites and offer affordable levels of rent to attract young farmers to set up co-ops to develop A&F industries. We should amend the town planning ordinance and tap new models to support the Sustainable Development Goal. Our country's 15th five-year plan emphasizes building a strong nation through green development and farming. Hong Kong is one important pillar. The SAR government should leverage on technology and improve the land supply, talent, cultivation, and collaboration with the Greater Bay Area so that young people can join the ANF industries and secure food supply.
Mr. Vincent Cheng, thank you. I speak in support of Mr. Chan Pok-chi's motion, as well as the amendments made. We have long history to our agriculture and fisheries industries, and fisheries industry has been our important economic pillar. 100 years ago, we had a lot of fishermen. This is our unique history and culture. We need to continue to support the industries. As mentioned in the motion and the amendments, we must deepen the development of the industries and unleash their potential. We must help the traditional industries to transition into an eco-friendly, modernized industries covering primary and secondary, as well as tertiary industries. Now, fisheries take place in my constituency as well. That's New Territories West, as well as Kowloon. Now, in Yamate, it has been a typhoon shelter for fishermen boats, and the fruit market is still an important hub for fruit wholesale. In Shamshui, there is a Changsha fresh food wholesale market covering the wholesale of local agriculture and fisheries products. These are important footprints of history. Now, the coastal development has been closely related to the ANF industries. Now, usually wholesale markets are located in coastal areas because most products came by sea, for example, in Shamshui as well as Changsha 1. Now, this is a great entry point for combining the developments of industries. Now, earlier on, I've invited government officials to visit the Changsha 1 fresh food wholesale market to understand the daily operation of the market as well as the positioning of the market and its interaction with the promenade. Now, there has been less demand for the coastal facilities near the market because we are less reliant on the sea routes for importing food. So bear in mind keeping the operation of the Changsha 1 markets, we need to study how we can unleash the potential of the area for the public as well as the trade. Of course, we would like to maintain the wholesale market's positioning. Maybe we can make reference to overseas wholesale food markets to set aside zones for visitors to procure local fresh products. This may inject some new impetus into the industries. Now, in the short run, the government should communicate more with the industry. For example, organizing more ANF-themed bazaar in the market to provide a selling platform for local quality products, as well as creating a more robust promenade experience for local people and visitors alike. This will be a win-win situation for both. To promote the long-term developments of the ANF industry, we need to promote the core demand for the products. A highly recognized, unified standard will help boost consumers' confidence as well as promoting the sales of local products. So we support the new unified brand for local ANF products. The positioning is low carbon, high quality, as well as eco-friendliness. Now, I visit the Mong Kok flower markets every year. There is a farm fest every year, and it receives a lot of attendance. It shows local people have a lot of confidence in our local produce. However, we can't simply rely on annual activities to support the trade development. So with the launch of the new unified branch, the government should enhance promotion of our local products to tap overseas markets. For example, we should encourage large-scale chain supermarkets to set up a specified corner for local produce. In the long run, we need to utilize the strengths of the Bay Area to export our produce to the mainland market, so as to usher in new developments for our ANF industry. Now, the National 15th Five-Year Plan mentioned that we need to invest in promoting green developments of the ANF industry. Let's work together and achieve the goal I shall submit. Mr. Yu Ming. Thank you, Deputy President. I speak in support of the motion and all the amendments. In 2025, the local ANF produce amounts to $860 million. That translates into 4.2 tons of vegetable, 11,000 live chickens, and 11,000 live pigs. Now, the GDP ratio has been dwindling for the ANF industry. However, it is still irreplaceable in our food supply. Now, the National 15th Five-Year Plan mentioned that we need to enhance the comprehensive productivity of the agriculture and fisheries industry and enhance food security. This will provide a basis for a 5-year plan. Now, our ANF industries are located in Yunlong, New Territories, as well as Deep Bay, as well as the ponds in New Territories Northwest. Now, there are 37 fish agriculture priority zones. Many of them are located in the Northern Metropolis. It shows that the Northern Metropolis and Yunlong will be the major zones for ANF development. Now, these industries are heavily relied upon the climate as well as human input. We need to enhance the resilience of our farmlands against extreme weather. Now, there has been an extreme episode of rainfall in the North District. I have been saying that we need to focus on boosting the resilience of the North District. Now, the pig farms in LEUNG have been flooded because of the heavy rain. There has been a 70% decrease in output because of bad weather. Now, a pig farm in LEUNG, there were 300 pigs washed away by the flood back in 2023. There are even pig carcasses left in the forest. Now, 3 years on, there's still illegal landfilling affecting the sewage capacity, the drainage capacity of the area. And there are wrong connection of pipes. Some pipes are wrongly connected, hindering the drainage capacity of the area, threatening the property and life of the villagers, as well as dealing a blow to the ANF industries. Now, with the development of the Northern Metropolis, I think we need to speed up the upgrading of infrastructure in New Territories Northwest to tackle the long-standing black spot of flooding. We need to enhance the standard of drainage capacity, improve the connection of drainage pipes, as well as enhancing the flood resilience of the area. This is how we can lay a solid foundation for the ANF industries. We have a lot of quality local products, including live poultry, hydroponic vegetables, grape molasses. These are very good products. Now, we should enhance the consumer's knowledge on our local products and spike the demand for our local products. Now, we should establish an industry park for local produce to establish a modernized platform combining produce, wholesale, and export. This will support the development of our ANF industry while strengthening our position as an international trade hub. We can also help mainland products to go overseas. Now, through the food industry park, we can introduce advanced logistics as well as packaging technologies and establish a high-standard food trading market. Thus, we can establish Hong Kong as an important exporting base for local produce as well as produce in the mainland. Now, we should migrate towards high-quality production, including using technologies to enhance productivity. Now, the fisheries research center in the Santiago will take up such an important role. It will cover enhancing breeds, feeds, as well as prevention of diseases. It will also be responsible for educating the trade. It can help better equip the trade to deal with the challenges brought about by extreme weather. Now, with the opportunity of the Northern Metropolis development, the government should enhance the development of leisure agriculture. We need to help farmers to expand their businesses and widen their revenue sources. In the future, there will be a lot of talents in Northern Metropolis. They will become important customer sources for leisure agriculture tourism. Now, we need to make the Northern Metropolis a green and livable zone. Thank you. Mr. Michael Ngai. Thank you, Deputy Chairman. The National 15th Five-Year Plan stresses that we need to establish the country into an agriculture powerhouse and hasten the modernization of ANF and establish our own brand to ensure that we can pursue green conservation as well as ANF development. Now, this is an important entry point for us to contribute to the national development blueprints. I thank Mr. CHAN Pok-chi for moving this motion so that we can tackle the bottleneck of our ANF industries. Now, there is limited scale as well as shrinking resources and backward policies for the ANF. In 2025, the GDP is $860 million, accounting for less than 0.01% of the GDP. Now, there is 90,000 tons of produce, worth some $300 million. However, we are still at an infancy stage in terms of technology application. Now, starting from 2000, by 2024, there's only some 3,900 hectares of agricultural land. Now, the revitalization scheme still see a waiting time of 3.9 years, with some 400 applications accumulated. Now, for the Sustainable Development Fund, the approval rate is at 39%. We need to provide more support for the industries. Now, in the Sustainable Development Blueprints for Agriculture and Fisheries, targets have been set, including in 15 years' time, we need to quadruple the produce of vegetable and enhance productivity of livestock as well as live pigs by 10%. Now, we need to ride on the favorable wind of the National 15th Five-Year Plan and integrate ANF into our first ever 5-year plan. Now, these are my suggestions. First of all, driving technological innovation and strengthening infrastructure. Smart agriculture and fisheries are the engine for reforming the trade. We need to establish a highly efficient, collaborative system between the industry and the academia. We need to encourage the industry to invest in research and development and establish technologies in prevention of disease. And also, ANF technology should be made part of the plan for the Sentinel Pole and the Northern Metropolis R&D plan. Now, at present, there's a lack of infrastructure in rural areas. We need to invest in the coverage of network as well as power grid. 2, we need to deepen talent training. Talents are the primary resources for driving transformation. Now, take my sector, university, as an example. Now, we are combining farming technologies between university and the type farm. Our dairy products are very popular, and our veterinary discipline is the one of 2 disciplines recognized by the international bodies in Asia. Now, the government should sponsor the trade as well as the academia to invest more in the relevant courses involving AI and technologies. We need to align the academia with our agri-park as well as the new agricultural priority zones. 3, we need to modernize the agriculture industry. In the Guangdong province, they have exceeded 200 billion RMB in terms of agriculture products. They boast the largest number of deep-sea truss cages in the country. Now, this glorious result sheet is an example for us. We need to flexibly deploy the 4 new fishery culture zones to pursue deep-sea culturing. Now, through the Sustainable Development Fund, we need to expand the use of anti-wind and wave deep-sea cages as well as AI-assisted weather prediction technologies. We should forge our own smart fish farms. Now, despite the small scale, the ANF industries are of strategic importance. The market is not just 7 million, but rather the 80 million large markets in the Bay Area. Now, with our progress in certification, we should forge our own green standard for food and achieve high-quality development of the industry. I support the motion and the amendments. Professor Alex Fan.
Deputy President, I speak in support of the original motion and the 2 amendments. The original motion and amendments talk about promoting local agriculture and fisheries and create a high value added system. I very much agree with this direction. Mr. Ehrenbach talked in particular about working with mainland, and I think this is pragmatic and important. On this basis, I would like to make my points today. When we talk about industrial cooperation and market connectivity, can we move beyond the GBA and reach the Hainan Free Trade Port? How can we really make a breakthrough for high quality development for the local agriculture and fisheries and related industries? I think it's about reducing costs and expanding our reach. For reduction of costs, we need to reshape the regional supply chain. We have been striving for ascension into RCEP, and we had the ministerial meeting last September. We expect this year to have specific discussions. Now, with RCEP members, our bilateral trade amount to approximately 70% of the local trades. And we have the Hainan Trade Port accounting for a high percentage in processing in the province, and it has sold for 11 billion renminbi, and the tariff wave is approximately $860 million. We can be a competitive supply chain. We can import from the ASEAN countries or Australia quality ingredients and make good use of Hainan's low tariff advantage to lower procurement costs and have processing done in Hainan, and then with tariff waived, enter the mainland market. We can be the branding, packaging. We can be the part where we provide certification and testing. We need to make sure we add value to the brand. We can export our testing and certification capabilities. We actually have a high-end industry in this regard. For example, Qinghai. We already have the Hong Kong Center set up a model where we will have testing done in Qinghai and certification done in Hong Kong. We have 68 categories, and the efficiency has been increased by 50%. We have 59 products from 50 enterprises certified, and it has increased the exports of agricultural products from Qinghai in the first half of 2025 to $340 million. It is a year-on-year increase of 56%. In May 2025, we have signed an MOU where we provide international certification for Hainan tropical agricultural products through a joint lab. As said earlier, we will launch a unified brand for local agricultural and fisheries products this year, and the government has a target to increase significantly the production capacity in the next 10 to 15 years. I suggest the government promulgate mutual recognition of certifications for local products and Hainan products, Hainan standards, so that we can expand the market for local agriculture and fisheries. We should also think about helping Chinese medicine go global. With high value added agriculture, we should not be limited in scope to agricultural and fisheries products. And in fact, Chinese medicine should be regarded as part of the larger agricultural, and we have institution advantages in this regard. We have 2,000 odd species recognized in Hainan, and they have been reared as a cluster in Hainan. Right now, we should really help the traditional Chinese medicine products go global. Starting from January this year, the Department of Health has a triage mechanism for registration of traditional Chinese medicine. It has greatly shortened the approval time, so we should help the sector make use of Chinese medicine to develop relevant markets. Thank you. Dr. Alvin Lee. Thank you, Deputy President. I thank Mr. Chan Pok-chi for proposing the original motion. I think in terms of aligning with the country's strategy, we can start on 2 levels. We should start with infrastructure and make good use of technology. We should also leverage on our strengths in marine research and development and actively try to undertake the country's mission in deep-sea mariculture. The citizens of Hong Kong face high living costs, and with modernization of industry, we need to have safe and solid foundations. In fact, I have been quite concerned about the serious impact caused by adverse weather conditions to the local agriculture and fisheries. Just a single torrential rain episode can really affect farmers for the whole year. We need to have long-term and stable development of local agriculture and fisheries. I think the government should include in its first 5-year plan resilience against adverse weather conditions and industrial planning. We need to have proper drainage infrastructure. Last week's rainfall is just a warning sign. We will have more frequent episodes like this, like the super typhoons and heavy rainfalls brought about by the El Nino effect. We also need to try to construct a blue granary. We need to promote deep-sea mariculture. It's not just for the facilitation of transformation of local agriculture and fisheries. It's also to dovetail with the country's strategy. We have our advantages in this regard. We should include in the city's first 5-year plan how we are going to dovetail with the country's strategy. The government has designated for new aquaculture zones, and we hope to increase production from the current 600 tons to 6,000 tons. That is tenfold. We will have live fish in Hong Kong from less than 5% right now to a quarter of the production capacity or the total quantity in Hong Kong. But we have limited space in the Hong Kong waters. We also have a lot of typhoons. We need to work with the Guangdong province to improve research and development capabilities. We can perhaps have the relevant research mainly undertaken in Hong Kong and then complement that with the strengths of a Guangdong province. We have the first deep-sea mariculture project in the Greater Bay Area that have a total investment of $10 million, and half of which comes from the Sustainable Agricultural and Fisheries Development Fund. And they have set up 3 HDPE gravity cages and make use of AI monitoring functions. It is expected we will have a significant increase in capacity. We should really make good use of such technology. We have to promote modernized deep-sea mariculture. We should really leverage on our strengths in engineering and innovation and technology to have smart infrastructure. For example, underwater robots for inspections, green energy power supply systems. This will exactly be in the direction of what is said in the motion and amendments. We should make sure to have coastal deep-sea mariculture that would meet high-end market needs. We have those fish species that are nurtured in deep-sea mariculture that is received well by high-value, high-spending customers. So we can really develop a brand in this regard. We need to make sure we move towards high-value added development. I think with the government's launch of agri-tainment is a good direction, is the correct direction. We have many citizens interested in quality products, local products, and I think we can do more in this regard. We need to promote the high quality development of agriculture, and we should include that in the city's first 5-year plan. I so submit speaking in support of the original motion amendments. Mr. Lam Chun Sing. Thank you, Deputy President. The National 15 5-year plan talks about how we have to enhance overall production capacity in agriculture and strengthen agricultural technology. And in 2023, the government promulgated the Blueprint for Sustainable Development of Agriculture and Fisheries that covers various areas such as use of technology, nurturing talents. There are several long-term goals set. For example, we have to increase vegetable production capacity to 60,000 tons in 10 odd years. I think the developed direction is clear, but in the city's 5-year plan, we can set hard performance indicators to make sure we are moving in the same direction and meet certain milestones. Mr. Edwin Bok talked about in his amendments San Pok-chi Wetland Conservation Park. A few years ago, the government planned to set up this park in the northern metropolis. It is formed by wetlands and an ecological park. I think the concept is very good. It basically demonstrates the coexistence of wetlands and sustainable aquaculture as well as education and recreation. But right now, for the 5 related facilities in Northern Metropolis, only San Pok-chi Wetland Conservation Park has seen some concrete plans. But the first phase work will only be completed in 2031. It will take until 2039 for the whole project to be completed. So that's 13 years from now. We don't even have a development timeline for the 4 other facilities. If we wait until the completion of the San Pok-chi project for us to accumulate experience and start with the other projects, do we have to wait another 10 odd years for the 4 other facilities to be constructed? We already engaged a consultant for feasibility studies, and we already have some preliminary development direction. Can't we commence planning and development earlier for the other facilities? For modernization of agriculture and sustainable development, another direction we can take is the development of urban farming, and the government has planned for such facilities in the new development areas as well as the northern metropolis. And on the rooftops and podiums of government buildings, there will be urban farming facilities. But for hydroponic farming, we only have such facilities in Tuchewai and Kutong, the new markets, in the new markets. As for development of urban farming, we can see Singapore has been doing well in this regard. They have facilities converted to community gardens or farms. They will have operators hire residents in the vicinity or elderly persons to host farming workshops and organize other activities. I think in the public housing projects or parks in the Northern Metropolis, we can incorporate relevant elements. It is hard to industrialize urban farming in Hong Kong because we face tremendous challenges. It requires significant capital investment early on in terms of construction and production. The threshold is quite high. We have 40-odd enterprises engaging in hydroponic farming. Most of their premises are housed in industrial buildings, but we see continuous increase in rents. It has increased production costs. I hope that we can provide support to operators to provide affordable land and stable supply of premises to lower their operational costs. We should also look at the operations of the Sustainable Agricultural Development Fund to see if we can provide more financial support to farmers to increase attractiveness to investors in urban farming. I so submit speaking in support of the motion.
Ms. Rebecca Chan. Thank you, President. The National 15 5-year plan expressly provides a direction, and that is the 4 core directions of high-quality development of the A&F industries involving green transformation, integrated industrial development, and this sets the blueprint for the national A&F industries in the long term. We need to dovetail with the national strategy, and we're drawing up the first 5-year plan. This is the way to go for Hong Kong to be integrated in depth into the country's development plan. But we also need to draw up a plan in light of the local circumstances so as to ensure optimal use of resources in the formulation of policies. This is exactly why we need to draw up the first 5-year plan. The National 15 5-year plan sets out the macro perspective directions on the long-term development of the A&F industries. But coming back to Hong Kong, when we draw up the 5-year plan, we need to be precise in identifying the growth points for sustainable development of the A&F industries. We need to work on 3 fronts, in my view. First, recreational farming and fishing. Second, building a local brand. And third, grooming professionals for the A&F industries. I know that the government is making a lot of efforts in these regards. When it comes to leisure farming and fishing, I think we have the impression of a primary production involving, say, fishing, catching fish, growing vegetables. But in fact, for the modernized practices, we're moving towards an integrated development, and that is we form a sustainable value-adding industry chain combining production with F&B, culture and tourism. And we have the prerequisites. For example, for the fisheries industry, over the years, the practitioners have been asking the government to allow fishing boats to be used for leisure purposes as well. This will generate additional income for fishermen. This can also repackage the fishing practices in Hong Kong into local or tourism resources with local characteristics, so that locals and visitors can join fishermen on a trip to see for themselves fishing practices as well as having a taste of local species. This will create a new space for the industrial development. We however face challenges such as land and site constraints. We don't have large-scale production, and for the smaller scale production, it's difficult to maintain the production capacity. So we need to go for a high quality and differentiated development. We need to build our own brand. Now, I support the government's proposal to introduce a unified brand for A&F industries. In order to sustain the development, we need to be able to tap the new window of marketing. And in fact, we can have an integrated center for wholesale and retail activities in a centralized manner. This can become an outlet for our local produce. This one-stop platform can provide an opportunity for wholesalers and retailers, and we can also accommodate food processing, etc. We can also set up a stringent quality assurance and certification system so as to build the brand that emphasizes quality and a lifestyle. This can help build resilience for the industries. This is also core to promoting sustainable development. It should be the government's long-term goal. We should also groom talents in a comprehensive manner so as to address the inadequacy of manpower, and we should also grasp the opportunity of collaborating with the Greater Bay Area. We can work with our counterparts in implementing projects such as deep sea cages, smart and modernized farms, etc. Now, we should also leverage on our research capability. For example, we should collaborate with the University of Applied Sciences in Hong Kong so that training courses on farm and fisheries technology and aquaponics can be organized. I hope that by implementing these initiatives, we can attract new blood to join the industries to promote sustainable development. I so submit. Mr. Ken Wong. President, I speak in support of Mr. Chan Pok-chi's motion. The 15th five-year plan of our country places emphasis on modernizing the agricultural industry, securing food supply, and revitalizing the rural areas. There are also clear goals of using technology to promote innovation and low carbon and industrial transformation. This is the major national strategy, and this is also an important opportunity for the A&F industries in Hong Kong to overcome the bottleneck. We're short of resources. We don't have large-scale operations for the A&F industries. However, we need to strike an equal balance and supply food for the grassroots. At the moment, the global A&F industries are going digital and going smart. In Hong Kong, however, the A&F industries have a shrinking labor force, and young people are not interested in joining the industries. We cannot transform and upgrade the industries in time, so we're being marginalized. We need to dovetail with the National 15th Five-Year Plan to promote high-quality development of the industries. This is an imminent task. I represent the education sector, so do allow me to share my three observations. First, we should focus on providing a prospect and career pathway for young people so as to address labor shortage. Talent underpins the development of any industry. We have a shrinking labor force for the A&F industries. There is a succession gap. The government should set up dedicated training schemes for young people to join the A&F industries. Subsidies should be provided. There should be free training and guidance so that our young people can go to the countryside and join the A&F industries. We should also draw up competency standards for the A&F industries so that their qualifications can be pegged to the QF, and that there will be a clear pathway for furthering studies and taking up jobs. And that can also help solve the problem of a succession gap. The second suggestion is to lower risks, operating risks, and instill confidence in the industries. In Hong Kong, most of the A&F operations are done on a small scale. They are susceptible to natural disasters, diseases, and market fluctuations. The government should optimize existing subsidy mechanism to provide more support and in order to mitigate risks, and there should also be A&F dedicated insurance policies to mitigate risk and encourage more investors to join. The third suggestion is to include A&F industries in the education process so as to add value to the industries. The A&F industries come with a very long history, and that is why I think that the traditional facilities in fishing villages and their practices should be included in the curriculum so that our youngsters can know more about the A&F industries in Hong Kong, so that we can build an atmosphere that favors local produce and local industries. Now, Hong Kong should help promote high-quality development of the A&F industries and integrate into our country's development plan. We are tasked with this mission of ensuring food security. In order to promote long-term sustainable development, we should leverage on technological innovation and deepen cooperation with the Greater Bay Area so that young people will join the industries, and I believe by doing so, we will find a way out to promote high-quality development. I so submit. Mr. Hong Kam In. President, I speak in support of Mr. Chan Pok-chi's motion and all the amendments. The A&F industries are core to people's livelihood. it's our capital. It's also a key industry to ensure food security. Food is the staple of all countries. We should actively dovetail with our country's 15th five-year plan. We should expedite the pace of upgrade of A&F industries in Hong Kong so that they go smart and go green more quickly, so as to promote high-quality development. According to the 2025 data collected by the AMSD, the amount of catch reached $2.4 billion or 90,000 tons. For aquaculture zones, the area spanned 1,765 hectares, providing jobs for 10,000 local fishermen. As for the agriculture industry, its contribution to GDP stood at 860 million Hong Kong dollars. We have 2,500 farms and directly employed 4,300 farmers and workers. In light of the escalating fuel cost and land rent, it has become more and more difficult for fishermen and farmers to continue their operations. And they have only begun to adopt smart technologies to help with their operations. And young people are deterred from joining the industry. I have 3 suggestions to promote high-quality development of the A&F industries. We need to empower the industries through technology. The government should encourage the industries to adopt smart technologies such as IoT sensors to practice automated feeding, to monitor water quality and soil condition. We should also be able to adopt big data analytics so as to optimize the production process so that we can go digital. The second suggestion is to expedite the grooming of talents. The government should expand the scope of funding and the amount of funds available under the Sustainable Agriculture and Fisheries Development Fund. There should be dedicated funds set up to subsidize young people in relevant training courses, such as green food certification, food supply management, farming and e-commerce, so that we provide more support for young startups. We can also build a better prospect and career pathway for young people. That way, we can give a facelift of the brand of the industries and attract more young people to join them. The third suggestion is to promote green development and add value to the industries. The government should collaborate with trade associations so as to develop leisure farming, fishing, and ecotourism. These will become major attractions for locals during long holidays. We can also arrange for students to go on visits and experience for themselves the A&F practices. We can also modernize the industries and combine them with the services industry to add value and bring economic benefits. Now, we should enhance food security through the development of A&F industries. We should also promote the local economy, low carbon transformation, and sustainable development of the industries with technology. I hope that the government will consider my 3 suggestions so that we can improve the legal framework and provide better policy support, and that Hong Kong people will be able to enjoy quality local produce and have better confidence in the industries.
Mr. Chen Pok-chi. Thank you, Deputy President. I speak in full support of Mr. Chan Pok-chi's motion as well as the amendments. Now, under the perspective of the National 15th Five-Year Plan, the HKSL government is formulating its own 5-year plan. That's not just alignment in terms of politics, but also a golden opportunity for transforming our A&F industries. We must use technology to drive collaboration between Hong Kong and the Guangdong province to help our industries integrate deeply into the national development blueprint. Now, the traditional A&F industries face several challenges, including scarcity of land, lack of resources, and an aging population of stakeholders. Now, we need to go deeper and higher. We need to introduce multi-story farming approach as well as technologies, which we should also engage in deep-sea mariculture to unleash the potential of the industries and achieve stable productivity throughout the year. This will enhance food security and also reshape the industries into green industries and attract young talents to join the industries. Now, we have a limited market, so we need to introduce inter-market connectivity with the Guangdong province. In Guangdong, there is a huge consumption market. In Hong Kong, we have the advantage in accreditation and food safety brand. We need to promote a unified standard recognized by both places. We need to break down the barriers in terms of inspection and quarantine. We need to ensure that our R&D progress are being applied in the Bay Area's market. In the future, the A&F industries will not just be a primary industry. It will become a high value-added, eco-friendly system. There will be zero pollution from hydroponic culture as well as livestock farming. It will help drive the cause of decarbonization. It will also enhance Hong Kong's status as a gourmet paradise while creating quality green living space for the public. And together with Mr. CHAN Pok-chi, we have been working to combat illegal fishing. So we have seen the market for ourselves. Hong Kong has the potential to grow the market. If we do not engage in reforms, we will lag behind others. Thank you. Professor Chen Wing-Kwong. Thank you, Deputy President. I thank Mr. CHAN Pok-chi for his motion. Now, we have a long history of agriculture and fisheries. It has been a major pillar of the economy when Hong Kong was first established. However, over the years, there's been a drainage of talents, and we are also lacking resources. However, the trade is still thriving robustly. It is still a unique industry in Hong Kong. Now, besides providing food for the population, the industry is also playing an important role in terms of leisure, tourism, and culture. Now, under the 15th Five-Year Plan, the country sets the goal to enhance the overall productivity and efficiency of the A&F industries. So Hong Kong needs to align with the National 15th Five-Year Plan by leveraging on our uniqueness. We need more proactive measures to promote the transformation of the industries into high-quality development so as to better serve the country. On how to promote this high-quality development, I think it's key to promote our local brand. Yes, we have a small scale of the market. However, we have quality products. Oysters in Lau Chan, great mullets in Yuen Long, and pak choy in Fanling. These are quality products which are favored by many connoisseurs. Now, Ms. Chen Yuming has taken representatives from the Chinese medicine sector to Ta Kwu Leng, and she treated us to watermelons grown in Ta Kwu Leng. Now, there is a wide range of temperature in Ta Kwu Leng with unpolluted water, so the watermelons are as tasty as though grown in Japan. There are also strawberries and cherry tomatoes. There are a lot of other examples. Unfortunately, many of these quality products are still unknown to tourists. Some visitors even think that we don't have our own local produce. That is a shame. The government should invest more in promoting our local produce. Besides providing support through the Sustainable Agricultural and Fisheries Development Fund, as well as participating in fisheries and agriculture expos. We can also go creative. We should engage KOLs and famous foodies to taste our produce for themselves, to promote our brands to local and overseas visitors. Now, besides shopping paradise, we are also a gourmet paradise with delicious fresh produce. So in the future, I hope visitors would think of Hong Kong when they think about tasty produce rather than Japan. Now, I agree that we need to establish a high quality agriculture and fisheries recreation system. Now, with our quick pace, many city dwellers would like to relax themselves in the countryside. Now, more and more visitors are eager to go to rural areas, including outlying islands, to travel. This is a good opportunity for our A&F industries to upgrade themselves. However, because of various limitations, including land use restrictions, there are some challenges in this process of transformation. So I hope the government would remove red tape in its policies. For example, relaxing the application threshold of farms to apply for a refreshment license so that farms can organize more activities for visitors. They will provide a more diversified range of services to visitors, enhancing their traveling experience, and also enhance the added value to the A&F industries and forge new growth points. I support the motion and the amendments. Professor William Wong. Deputy President, our economic structure is centered upon the service industry. The A&F industry's contribution to GDP is negligible. However, the A&F industry's development is important and irreplaceable for our development. For example, it can maintain diversity of our industry structure. Despite its limited scale, the A&F industries can be integrated with tourism, R&D, and education to provide resilience to our economy while enhancing the range of jobs available to Hong Kong people. It can also maintain our food stability and security. Now, in Singapore, the Singaporean government mentioned the 30 times 30 vision, that by 2030, the self-sufficiency rate for nutrition can achieve 30% for Singapore. That is a lesson for us. Now, we have very scarce land resources. However, through smart agriculture, deep-sea mariculture, as well as cross-boundary collaboration, we can enhance the resilience of our food chain. Besides, by developing the A&F industries, we can provide application scenarios for testing technologies as well as other R&D products, which in turn would boost our innovative industry. Now, I have 3 suggestions to make. First of all, we need to promote cross-boundary collaboration of the fisheries industry. Now, the 15th Five-Year Plan states that the country would pursue maritime economy development. Now, in Hong Kong, the City University has a state laboratory for marine health. And in the Chinese University of Hong Kong, we have a coral department. Now, on these premises, we can pursue cross-boundary mariculture development. Now, the Myers Bay in the northeastern part of the northern metropolis boasts very high water quality. It has been selected as a beautiful coast in the country. Now, on that basis, in 2023, the AFCD has designated Myers Bay and other 3 water bodies as fish cultivation zones, providing a new platform for modernization of our industries. However, we share the Myers Bay water with the Shenzhen government. That's why we need to engage in cross-boundary collaboration with the Shenzhen government to establish a platform for sharing data and pursue collaboration in terms of deep-sea cage cultivation as well as preservation of critical species as well as maritime restoration. We need to forge the Myers Bay into the greenhouse for the Bay Area. It can also highlight Hong Kong's strategic role in the food supply chain. It is also a demonstration zone of sustainable fisheries in the Bay Area. Second, we need to pursue cross-boundary collaboration in terms of maritime research. Now, with our research prowess, we can establish fish culture research platform in Myers Bay, focusing on breeding, food safety, water quality monitoring, as well as biotechnology. It can address the shortage of food supply for urban areas. We can also attract foreign research capital to come to Hong Kong. 3, we need to establish a brand and go global. Now, riding on the Singaporeans' experience, it shows that produces produced in city can also tap the foreign markets with good quality. Now, with our accreditation and testing, as well as rich experience in international cooperation, we can pursue high value-added developments for our produce, and also we can establish an international platform to help mainland produce to go global, to become an important platform for the country. Now, we are formulating our 5-year plan, so we should pursue high-quality growth of our A&F industries to tie in with the National 15 5-year plan's objectives to uphold food security as well as regional collaboration. I support the motion and the amendment.
Mr. Lau Kar-keung. Thank you, Deputy President. I thank Mr. Chan Pok-chi for proposing the original motion and 2 other members for proposing amendments. The National 15 5-year plan stipulates clearly that we should expedite the construction of an agricultural powerhouse. We need to dovetail with the strategic expectations of the country and make sure we help upgrade and transform local agriculture and fisheries. I have 3 suggestions. 1, we should have modernized management and intensification of production to increase efficiency of production. We have limited space in Hong Kong. If we can make good use of space, it will generate significant benefits. The AFCD works with the Vegetable Marketing Organization to establish a R&D Center for Hydroponics, and they have converted idle industrial building facilities to a smart hydroponics farm. And we have the Agri Park in Kutong South established in 2022 that is promoting the development of agriculture. I suggest the administration make good use of the Sustainable Agricultural Development Fund to provide incentives to the agriculture so as to upgrade traditional agricultural operations to be more resilient against adverse weather. The government should also work with local academic institutions to nurture breeds that can adjust to the local climate and market. And that's how we can dovetail with the country's strategy to develop modernized agriculture. We should deepen collaboration between Guangdong and Hong Kong and establish a cluster for fisheries. We have quite a number of fish rafts in Hong Kong. We should make use of regional cooperation to break through the resource bottleneck to generate greater benefits. The AFCD has designated 4 new fish culture zones. The one in Myers Bay is expected to produce 120 tons of fish per year. If we want to leverage on our strengths, the government should consider setting up a collaboration mechanism with other GBA cities such as Shenzhen to construct a modern marine ranch. Specifically, we can learn from the innovative mechanism where state-owned enterprises work with fisheries firms in Shenzhen. We should encourage enterprises to provide capital, technology, and fish fry, and that's how we can really scale up local fisheries to be a deep sea industrial cluster. We should introduce real-time water quality and fish monitoring technologies to enhance tracing as well as efficiency. Third, we need to have an ecologically friendly and high value added industrial system to have sustainable development of local agriculture and fisheries. I suggest the administration work with R&D institutes to promote coexistence of fish and rearing of vegetables. We should make good use of the sustainable development funds that have a total that have a respective commitment of $1 billion to support organic farming, ecological culture. And with the launch of the unified brand of local agricultural and fisheries products in July, we should be able to promote the development of local agriculture and fisheries further. I also speaking in support of the motion amendments, Mr. Chen Yung. Thank you, Deputy President. Thank you, Secretary. I very much thank and support DAB's Chan Pok-chi's original motion and Mr. Jonathan LEUNG and Mr. Aaron Bok's amendments to dovetail with the National 15 5-year plan and the high-quality development of local agriculture and fisheries. I believe all members will agree with this direction. Even in textbooks for primary school and kindergarten students, it talks about how Hong Kong has grown from a small fishing village to an international metropolis. President Xi talked about earlier how we need to make good use of the seas and promote marine economy, high quality development, and to be a powerhouse in the area. For local agriculture and fisheries in Hong Kong, developing it will help ensure food security and provide some great development prospects in high quality development. National 15 5-year plan also talks about developing the marine economy and enhancing overall production capacity for agriculture. And we can see the EEB has been working hard to promote the development of local agriculture and fisheries, and indeed there are great challenges faced in upgrading and transforming the sector. Today, I want to particularly talk about marine operations, marine economy, and we actually have seafood that is well known in the world. We have some high value marine and agricultural products passing through Hong Kong. And this is how we can really develop the tertiary sector to promote our development as well as the country's development. If we can upgrade and transform local agriculture and fisheries and develop marine ranches, like in the country, they have 10-story high marine ranches in the middle of the sea. And this will not just be a primary sector operation. It will move beyond that. And even in Shenzhen, they are rearing salmon. With international R&D and other strengths in finance and maritime operations, we can foster a comprehensive industrial chain. Indeed, local agriculture and fisheries, especially fisheries, don't make a significant contribution to the GDP, but it's just because it is of small scale at the moment. It is not keeping up with the times. Now, how can we dovetail better with the country's strategy? We need to remove institutional barriers. We have to promote participation of Hong Kong enterprises in distant fishing of the country. and it is included as the country's policy. We should also promote aquaculture. Third, we need to improve on cold chain logistics and quarantine and clearance arrangements. We want to make sure we can send products within a few hours to different parts of the world. We need to make sure we create a high value added trading platform of fisheries products. We should also develop precision processing of seafood. Next, we need to make sure we have ancillary services, finance, real estate for fisheries supply chain. We also need to invest more in R&D and nurturing of talent. We need to become standard setters for fisheries. It's not just in the South China Sea, but also the greater Pacific Ocean. We need to upgrade and transform local agriculture and fisheries to actively dovetail with the country's plans and work closely with Guangdong province to leverage on our strengths and make contributions to the country in its efforts to be a marine powerhouse. And the Secretary has already done much. Hopefully in future, with the leadership of the Chief Executive and the Secretary, we will have high quality and efficient development of the fisheries so that it can become a great engine for growth for the economy. Thank you, Deputy President. Ms. Michelle Tang. Thank you, Deputy President. In the past 20-odd years, we have seen a declining market share of local fisheries and agriculture. It shows that the local agriculture and fisheries is facing a significant structural challenge. We have 2,500 farms and 4,000 odd practitioners in the sector in Hong Kong. We have each year production of over 90,000 tons. If we can keep abreast with the times with technology, this is not a sunset industry. The government must make good use of technology to promote modernization of agriculture and fisheries. The government established the Sustainable Agricultural Development Fund and Sustainable Fisheries Development Fund. I think this is going along the right direction, but we need to do more and encourage the sector to make use of Internet of Things and AI and other technologies for smart agriculture and modernized aquaculture. We have some controlled environment labs that can rear relevant products even when the weather is not good, and we can really enhance production capacity and efficiency with technologies. The government should also make good use of the R&D strengths of tertiary institutions like the City University. They have produced milk and ice cream that is not as likely to cause allergies, and they are very well received. The farm can also provide opportunities for internship of vet students. They can learn various areas of knowledge. This is how we can really successfully combine production, academia, and research. We also have silver hair food for the elderly. We can have innovative food that has Hong Kong characteristics to be high value added products transformed from R&D outcomes. We want to make sure people can eat healthy and with confidence. This is very important for security in the 21st century. If we can have a local quality production system of scale, we can mitigate potential supply chain risks. The government will soon launch a unified brand for local agricultural and fisheries products. There will be a certification and tracing mechanism. It is important to create a brand with quality assured. Not only can it instill confidence in consumers, it can also make us more competitive in developing the mainland and overseas high-end markets. I hope the government can encourage the sector to work with food processing, cold chain logistics, and testing and certification service providers, and provide tax concessions as well as market promotion support so that we can have a comprehensive industrial chain. The government should also seize the opportunity of the development of the northern metropolis to combine leisure, fisheries, and agriculture with ecological tourism. We have much agricultural land and fish ponds in the northern metropolis. We should have regard to the local circumstances and develop such operations and expedite the construction of the food industrial park and make sure we have an industrial circle set up that comprises of upstream, midstream, and downstream operations. The government should review land use and urban planning procedures to unleash the development potential of rural areas so that we can have agri-tainment or fishing entertainment, leisure fisheries, as well as characteristic bed and breakfasts so that people can experience production in the primary sector and promote urban-rural integration. I so submit.
Dr. Sunny Tan. Thank you, President. The National 15th Five-Year Plan provides that we should strengthen our marine-related industries and modernize the industry. In August last year, when responding to my resolution in the two sessions, the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries provides categorical support for the upgrading and transformation of the fisheries industry. In November, the Ministry also led a delegation to Hong Kong to study the situation relating to fisheries industry in Hong Kong. Now, I'd like to focus on ocean-going fishing operations. We need a highly efficient cold chain logistics. In March last year at the panel, the Secretary also referred to our advantages as a transit hub because we have a good cold chain system. Hong Kong is also the gateway for the import of high-end seafood from around the world to the Greater Bay Area. Now, I have two suggestions. First, we should strengthen our position as in the Guangdong Hong Kong Aviation Park so as to provide better support for the cold storage and cold chain logistics for high-end aquatic products. Hong Kong International Airport is the first airport hub with IATA's recognition. We have temperature-controlled storage center there, and for the Guangdong Aviation Center, well, in fact, it has not been announced, but it has the international recognition, and the design for the second phase has begun. Now, in the future, there will be competition from neighboring places. This will cause us to lose the edge as the cold chain transit hub. So I think we should upgrade the existing transit facilities and start with second phase of the Guangdong Center. We should also study ways to enhance the cold chain related facilities such as the cargo freight center and the facilities of our logistics partners so as to enhance the sorting and primary processing services and further give play to our advantages as a transit hub. The second point is that the AFCD will roll out the unified brand for local A&F produce in July this year with tracing of origin. The Secretary earlier also said in an interview that the arrangement can help us build our brand. In the long term, we can develop food processing and further improve our brand in order to tap the mainland and overseas market. We do not have locally registered ocean-going fishing vessels, but we do have fishing vessels that are registered through the third party or in collaboration with the mainland. So I think we should look into the idea of made in Hong Kong and invite ocean-going fishing vessels to help us in developing a new pathway called Made by Hong Kong so that we can set up our certification and origin tracing mechanism that can help build our brand and tap markets. We can add value to the processing industry. This will enhance our role as the cross-boundary supply chain management center. This can help us break the bottleneck too. And take Productivity Council as an example. We support identification of fish varieties through AI so as to implement label control, and that we can make use of blockchain to enhance fishing operations. We have the prerequisites to meet international standards and the standards of the EU, and this can help us tap international markets. Now, I need to declare that I'm chair of the Productivity Council, and I also have family business relating to ocean-going fishing practices. Now, about the future development directions, we need to improve the supporting facilities. I hope that in the long run, the government can provide better support for the A&F industries and the food processing industries in Hong Kong. Ms. Ginny Man. President, I speak in support of Mr. Chan Pok-chi's motion and the amendments by other members. There are views in the community that because of our economic structure, the A&F industries in Hong Kong do not excel. They do not contribute significantly to our GDP. So it's not a highlight of investment, and fewer people are willing to join the industries. It's not easy to take forward, upgrade, and transform of the industries. But I think that we should not just look at their GDP contribution. Rather, instead of looking at the dollar sign, we should consider the industries as part of our local culture. Around the world, visitors now attach greater importance to in-depth experience, and there are also a lot of popular tourist attractions in Asia, in Europe, where you have farm stays to provide the rural experience to visitors. This can also bring about developments and economic benefits to other ancillary industries. So we should upgrade and transform the industries so as to sustain the development. In recent years, the extreme weather has caused a major damage to crops of local farms. Everything may come to an end after a rainstorm or typhoon. Changes in water quality may affect the fish farms. So these are high-risk practices. Now, the National 15th Five-Year Plan provides a clear direction. We need to modernize the industries through technology to enhance the efficiency of production. So I am on board with the original motion. We need to dovetail with the National 15th Five-Year Plan so that leveraging on technology, we can modernize the A&F industries and break away from the existing trading model so that we can build a high value added industry. And only by doing so will we be able to take forward high-quality development. The Northern Metropolis will give us the unprecedented opportunity, and I'm happy to learn that sites have been earmarked in the Northern Metropolis for the relevant activities, including development of clusters of fish ponds, and Mr. Aaron Brock's amendment also refers to the Northern Metropolis and the Shamposhu Wetland Conservation Park. Now, I have the following suggestions. We should adopt modernized practices. In fish culture zones, we should make use of smart gadgets such as automated feeding systems, real-time water monitoring system, AI, data analytics, etc., to enhance the efficiency of production and provide more protection for fishermen. We should work with the Guangdong counterpart on smart aquaculture and certification. We should introduce new technologies on hydroponics so as to provide our citizens with clean and healthy vegetables. We can also attract more investment. Now we can build multi-story modernized buildings in the Northern Metropolis to support the support the development so as to attract more young people to join the industries. We should also enhance logistic development between the A&F industries and the tourism industry. The relevant government departments should have regard to the existing schemes, that is the Agri-Enjoy scheme and the Fishing Enjoy scheme, and draw on the experience so as to develop new modes of operation and organize eco tours for for students and citizens in general to know more about the latest development of the A&F industries. We can also provide a unique experience for tourists. Now, hydroponics, as I mentioned, have become a widely popular option for citizens. We also have rooftop farming activities. Many people now opt for healthier produce. They do not have a lot of options. They are willing to spend time to grow their own vegetables. It's also something good for our young people. It's educational, so the government should develop leisure farming, and we should make better use of rooftops on public markets and other public open space so that we practice urban farming in Hong Kong, and that more people will be concerned about the development of the industries. I so submit. Sir Johnny, President, I always emphasize, as set out in the National 15th Five-Year Plan, when it comes to productivity, we should not just focus on tech-related industries. We should also develop new quality productive forces for traditional industries such as the A&F industries, so that if they go digital and go smart, we can then add value to the industries. I support the original motion and the amendments. I have 4 suggestions. First, utilize blockchain technology to build a new foundation for digital A&F industries. We should further enhance the quality of our local produce so that we can modernize the industries. When it comes to blockchain and Web3 and fintech, we have very mature technologies in Hong Kong. We are in the lead in the global community. When drawing up the first 5-year plan, the government should set up the blockchain-based branding system for the local A&F industries. In fact, in recent years, I visited a number of villages in the mainland. I have a very personal experience. They have quality products, but at the same time, there are also fake products that will hamper consumer confidence. We should make use of blockchain because it will allow the tracing of origin, and that we can give a boost of confidence. With decentralized blockchain technology, we can practice farm to table with the use of blockchain so as to bring value to the industries and help create a unique brand. The second suggestion is that when it comes to transformation, a lot of investments are needed. We have quality fish wraps and farms, but then we have a financing issue. In order to make a breakthrough, we should introduce RWA for the A&F industries. We should also opt for tokenization of assets to address the financing issue. We are an international financial center. We have a lot of capital to help promote the industries. The government should further improve the regulatory framework for crypto assets so that using the outer base, we can then make use of crypto assets and introduce financing channels for the A&F industries to promote high-quality development. The government should take the lead in setting up a dedicated fund to support the development of blockchain technology for the A&F industries and lower the threshold for the application of frontier technologies. The third suggestion is to give play to the role of the Northern Metropolis. We should promote collaboration in the Greater Bay Area so that with market interactions we can create synergy, and that can help local farmers and fishermen tap the bigger market in the Greater Bay Area. We can also support our country's goal as well. Now, in relation to the loop, this is a golden zone. The SAR government should expedite its efforts in attracting smart farming practices from around the world to set a presence in the northern metropolis. They can focus on breed selection and R&D, and the government earlier announced the development blueprint for the A&F industries. Within 15 years, the local fishing production will be scaled up by 10 times, and for farming production, it will go up by 4 to 5 times. These are the goals. But in the first 5-year plan, we should set out the interim KPIs. For example, we should introduce a multi-story buildings for urban farming, animal husbandry, and also smart fishing culture. Now, this is the global trend. Hong Kong is good at innovation and financial services. In order to take forward high-quality development of A&F industries, in the 5-year plan, the government should leverage on technology to promote modernization of the A&F industries. So submit.
Mr. Tam Chen Kwok. Thank you, Deputy President. I speak in support of the motion moved by Mr. Chan Pok-chi and the other amendments. Despite the small scale of our A&F industries, they have a long history and they have been providing food for the local population, and we have established a brand for quality products. Now, the local fish produce from our local ponds are widely popular. For example, in the short span of 3 days, the Farm Fest has attracted more than 100,000 attendees. And also, a local grain breed developed by the AFCD is widely supported by the local consumers. It shows that innovation as well as quality products can lead our A&F industries on the path to high-quality development. Me and my party supports the motion. We support nurturing more talents to support the growth of the industries, especially applying more technologies and equipment in the new fish culture zones in the northern metropolis, while enhancing the knowledge level of the trade. To provide demonstration for production at scale for the industry, we should also introduce healthy competition for the local A&F industries. Now, besides food supply, there's also educational as well as leisure functions. Now, there is the Agri-Enjoy as well as Fish Enjoy schemes. In the Agri-Enjoy scheme, the largest Phoenix farm in Tagulang has been growing quality farm produce with the wide-ranging temperatures. Now, last year, there was a strawberry festival which showcased strawberries from the country and overseas, attracting a lot of visitors to pick strawberries for themselves. It shows that our farms have the potential to break through the traditional farming model and turn the farming resources into quality tourism products and boost the local economy. Now, to further develop leisure farming, I and my party suggest that besides removing red tape, there must also be a comprehensive package of supporting policies to help the industries to attract and retain consumers. For example, in Lai Chi Wo, after this streamlined application guideline, there is fewer barriers for turning village houses to hostels. However, infrastructure is still insufficient and there is insufficient footfall during weekdays. Now, we urge the government to announce the details of application for the Urban-Rural Integration Fund for the Northern Metropolis, streamline the application procedures, and provide more support for rural bodies to organize itineraries to attract visitors to their villages. Now, the blue and green circles covering Shuttlecock and Tagulang have the richest ecological resources in Hong Kong. Now, the first phase of the Shampu-Shu Westland Conservation Park will be commissioned soon. Now, we need to conserve the Ramsar Bay wetland, and we need to attach equal importance to conservation and development. Now, these are successful examples where to show that the most valuable public resources in Hong Kong is these natural assets. They should be made the core elements of a new development model. We need to turn the blue and green resources in new territories into sustainable economic growth impetus. Now, the 15th Five-Year Plan emphasizes low carbon and green transformation. While we are formulating the 5-year plan, I hope that the plan will give a more important role to the A&F industries as well as rural tourism to facilitate urban-rural integrated growth. Thank you. Mr. Alan Chen. Thank you, Deputy President. Now, according to a study report, as well as the blueprints for the sustainable development of agriculture and fisheries, data shows that there are great potential for A&F industries. In terms of advantages, our brand is famous for its safety in the country. Now, in July, the AFCD has launched a QR code traceability system for our unified brand. However, we have some disadvantages. We only have 3,900 hectares of agricultural land and some 714 hectares of active farmland. 80% of our farmlands are on fallow. They account for less than 3.5% of our total landmass. Now, our labor cost is high, and we don't have labor, a cost competitiveness in terms of labor. In terms of opportunities, in the 15th Five-Year Plan, there are food security strategies as well as AI-led transformation. Together with the new spaces in the northern metropolis, there is much opportunity. For risks, there are the fluctuating prices as well as the competition in the area, and also the low self-sufficiency rates for our produce. It gives rise to food security concern. Now, based on these advantages, disadvantages, and opportunities, we should learn from the Singaporean government and set a self-sufficiency rate for A&F produce. We need to empower the trade with technologies and establish our brand as well as expand the use of our farmland. Here are my 3 suggestions. 1, we need to break down the bottleneck imposed by the Country Park Ordinance. We need to unleash the potential of rural land for modernized farming. Now, according to the planning department's data, there are only 5.2% of farmland in our OZP. However, country parks account for 40% of our total land size. Now, we should learn from the UK government. There is the Great Belt Zone concept. For those areas which are Green Belt Zone in name but in reality do not possess any landscaping or ecological value, we should review the restrictions imposed on these Great Belt land on farming. On the premise that the ecology is not disturbed, we should explore the feasibility of using peripheral sites of country park for agricultural purposes. Second, we should lean in on conducting pilot use of AI-operated farms in the northern metropolis. We should embed smart agricultural elements in the northern metropolis. We should use tax concession to draw in private capital to establish hydroponic farms on rooftops of buildings. Now, Huawei and the Chinese University of Agriculture have developed a lot of patents for AI's uses in agriculture. Some 43% of AI uses in the country are for agriculture. Now, in Yangzhou, there is a 600-hectare large farmland which only requires 3 human being inputs. Now, in Suzhou, there is a 1,000-hectare large farm with no human inputs at all. They are solely run by robots. Now, in Hong Kong, we have the potential to establish highly efficient AI-operated farms. 3, we need to establish a souvenir economy with our local produce. Now, besides fresh produce, in terms of food processing and retail products, we are very famous. Now we have the dry grey mullets from Yunlong. They are widely popular in the market, and they have become an innovative souvenir for Hong Kong. However, the government should support these products more systematically. There should be a dedicated fund for supporting making local produce into souvenirs. We should establish a series of souvenirs with our local produce. This will not only enhance the value added to the industry. Time is up. Mr. Kissenyang. Thank you, President. Now the global fisheries resources have been dwindling. On the other side, with the country's technology progress, we have revived the fisheries industry. We need to promote the high-quality development of the fisheries industry, and we need to overcome the barriers in terms of cost effectiveness. Now, I visited the Zhejiang Oceanic University for a study. Now, the highly effective fish culture using fish nets and pillars is a smart technology using AI monitoring device in open seas. Now, the deep sea trust cage costs $1 million, and the cost is just $50,000 per batch. However, these fish has already achieved market value of 12 billion RMB. Now, they call this industry a gold mine on sea. Now, we should make reference to this technology developed by the Zhejiang Ocean University to support the sustainable development of our industry. Now, the pain points of our deep-sea mariculture is the high cost of deep-sea cages. Now, over the past 2 years, I found that many investors are put off by the $20 million upfront cost on deep-sea cages. It has also brought down the price competitiveness of our products in the global market. Now, in my space and other new fish culture zones, the FCD has been providing deep-sea cages for fishermen to rent. That has lowered the technological barriers, but we shouldn't stop there. The government should work with the relevant mainland bodies, including the Zhejiang Ocean University, to establish a more effective collaboration platform. Now, even though some of the designs are not suitable for our water bodies, we shouldn't give up. We should collaborate with these R&D bodies to develop deep-sea cages which are cost-effective and which suit our own characteristics. They should be covered by the Sustainable Fisheries Development Fund. There should be a higher matching ratio for projects in collaboration with the mainland. Only when we can lower the cost for deep-sea cages can we attract more investors to turn our water bodies into a greenhouse. Now, this year's budget proposed the establishment of a new unified brand for local produce. This is very important for revitalizing our industries. After addressing the cost issue, we need to think about how far and how expensive we can sell these produce. Now, in Hong Kong, we are famous for our food safety standard. That is an unparalleled advantage. Now, in the middle of this year, the AFCD will launch a unified branch with a traceability and certification system. It will help enhance our market recognition as well as enhance the value added. Now, there should be a star certification system combining blockchain technology so that we can offer traceability to fish produced in Hong Kong, from fish fry to fish products. Now, we are famous for our produce in groupers and other star seafood products. Now, we can align with National 15-5-year Plan objective to contribute our valuable seafood products into the internal circulation. We can supply these fish products to Michelin star restaurants overseas. Now, we shouldn't stop at self-sufficiency. We should position Hong Kong as an export base of high-quality fisheries products. We should also add value to these products by our certification system. We have confidence that we can double the value of our mariculture products. I so submit to support the motion.
Mr. Andrew Lam. President, I would like to thank Mr. Chan Pok-chi for proposing the original motion and 2 other members for proposing amendments. I would like to first raise the issue of whether agriculture is just about farming and whether agriculture and fisheries still are only primary sector productions. We often talk about Hong Kong has limited space. There is no room for the free market for low-value agricultural and fisheries products. We have to move beyond that because traditional agriculture is all about weather conditions and farming in a lot. But now, modern agriculture is a revolution. It is about combining that with circular economy. If we look at the agriculture in Singapore, Netherlands, and Israel, they can farm on rooftops, industrial buildings, or even in deserts. The agricultural technology of the country can even convert deserts and high saline concentration land into farmland. So we need to think about where our comparative advantage lies. 30 years ago, I did a poverty alleviation project in Heyuan, and they nurtured pine tree seeds, and I asked the residents there to make the pine cones and put a ribbon on it, and they can sell that in Hong Kong for $10 odd. So I think this is a very good example. Our culture is not just about selling food. We have great strengths in food safety standards, certification, and testing, as well as international reputation. This can be very valuable in the Greater Bay Area or even in the country. It is about creating brand in different parts of the agricultural process. We can make good use of the natural environment of Hong Kong. We have world-class coastline. We have beautiful scenery. These are not obstacles in development of agriculture, but assets for the agricultural brand. If we talk about how we're making use of recycled water to breed agricultural products, we can sell a narrative. And if we combine an educational experience in a farm with a natural environment in rural areas, we can go beyond just selling the value of agricultural products. We need to make use of technology in pragmatic areas. We have the Blueprint for Sustainable Development of Agriculture and Fisheries, talking about developing leisure fisheries in fish rafts, and we are also doing hydroponic farming. We need to make it attractive for youth, to tell them agriculture is professional. It's not just about working outdoors, but it's about marketing. We also need to dovetail with the national strategy. The country is moving towards high quality development and new quality productive forces. What can we do in Hong Kong? We can be a demonstration zone for agricultural technology, and we can be a hub for the brand of high value agricultural products. Whether we are selling the vegetables or produce to markets or Michelin restaurants or high-end supermarkets or the rest of the world, it is all about the multiplier effect. If we believe in empowerment by technology and finance, we need to really think beyond the present. We need to use our active imagination. We need to think not only in terms of investments made to preserve wetlands. It is about creating a revenue source for an ecological brand. And an industrial building won't be a source of pollution. It is space for, say, restaurants selling high-value agricultural products, and we can have it become a pavilion for exhibiting high-end technology in agriculture. I so submit. President, Mr. Yu Patlan. President, I speak in support of Mr. Chan Pok-chi's motion and other members' amendments. The National 15th Five-Year Plan clearly stipulates the acceleration of modernization of agriculture and have an in-depth integration of modern services and modern agriculture and fisheries. It specifically says that agriculture and fisheries should move beyond the primary sector. Before, people often thought Hong Kong had limited space, so there's not much room for development of local agriculture and fisheries. But from today's discussions, we can see how we have great expectations for the development of local agriculture and fisheries. With the introduction of new quality productive forces, we can have cross-sectoral integration of local agriculture and fisheries, and with the blueprint for sustainable development of agricultural fisheries, there is great development potential of the sector. I have 4 suggestions. 1, we should have in-depth integration of local agriculture and fisheries and culture and tourism. We can refer to the experience of Hokkaido in Japan. We can develop a new ecosystem that combines agriculture, fisheries, and tourism. And I'm glad that the government is actively taking forward the allowing of dual uses of fishing vessels. This can also facilitate the transformation of fishermen. The government should continue to relax administrative restrictions and should seize the opportunity of launching the unified brand for local agricultural and fisheries products to really combine our strengths in local agriculture and fisheries and the local catering industry to have new brands in the foodie culture. We should make good use of new quality productive forces. There is still much room for improvement in going smart and using technology in agriculture and fisheries. We should leverage on our strengths in tertiary academic institutions, and we should also take advantage of the AI R&D Institute to have application settings for monitoring operations of local agriculture and fisheries, so as to make good use of the R&D outcomes of Hong Kong and mainland institutions, say in automatic feeding or autonomous inspections, to empower the operations of local agriculture and fisheries. There is much room for development of all 3 sectors, the primary, secondary, and tertiary sectors. The government should have comprehensive planning and make sure to accommodate affected farmers in agricultural priority areas and have modernized multi-story facilities for agriculture and fisheries. There is still room for improvement according to the sector in the operations of the Sustainable Agricultural and Fisheries Development Funds. I believe we can provide more support to fishermen to purchase commercial insurance against adverse weather conditions. I also think what Mr. Aaron Bach said about combining leisure fisheries in the plans of Sampo Shu Wetland Conservation Park to really develop a new attraction. I agree with that. We should also incorporate local agriculture and fisheries in education. We need talents for high quality development. The younger generation of Hong Kong don't know much about produce and crops. In order to move towards high quality development, we need to have in basic education relevant knowledge, and we should develop relevant courses with tertiary institutions related to smart fishing and ecotourism so that we can incorporate elements of local agriculture and fisheries for the younger generation to be in touch with nature, and this will be a good route for development of culture and tourism and local agriculture and fisheries. Mr. Jonathan Lamport. Thank you, President. I speak in support of the original motion and amendments. Let me share with you a personal experience. I like large fish, and I, in particular, like deep sea fish. One time I had seafood with my friends, and I thought there was I had some sort of weird sensation. I thought I was drunk, but people said I had chicken virus. And apparently, this natural toxin cannot be removed even with the fish being cooked. But I think with this, we can see how there are certain asserts with food safety, and we can actually resolve this with technology. To have high quality development, to upgrade and transform local agriculture fisheries, we need to have a comprehensive industrial chain. We would have, on the one hand, those high-end groupers being sold, and we need to make sure it is safe to consume and it is sold at affordable prices. We need to make sure it is not polluted by heavy metals. We also need to make sure we have stringent controls of water quality and feed to remove the bad odor in fish and make the fish taste better. We also need to make sure with more mature technologies we can lower the prices. Now, some people may ask, how are we competitive in developing frontier food technology? We need to make sure that we make good use of our strengths and of our world-class food safety regulatory regime. For example, for ice cream, we have more stringent regulatory standards compared to Europe or the United States. And we can make a brand out of made in Hong Kong because that would represent safety and high quality. We can really create a brand of food tech. We can also combine that with tourism. For the planning of Northern Metropolis, we can have a high-tech park where visitors can visit food tech factories to really see the process, and in the end they can purchase products made in Hong Kong. Not only can that promote agricultural and fisheries tech, it can also boost tourism. Now, I also want to talk about halal certified seafood. What is halal certified seafood? For natural fish, it is definitely natural, so it's halal certified. But if we have pig farms in the vicinity, that may cause pollution. And if the feed has pig ingredients, it will also hurt its halal certification potential. And it is important to make sure we take the market share in halal certified seafood, and we can also provide more halal friendly options with that. We can't only be limited to what we have. We need to promote food tech to revitalize local agriculture and fisheries. It can provide a high value path for development, and we can consume so that no other can be like me, be poisoned by fish.
Dr. Hui Li. Thank you, President. I thank Mr. Chan Pok-chi for moving today's motion so that we have an opportunity to develop this, to discuss this motion on high-quality development of the A&F industries. Now, many members have offered invaluable insights. I'd like to take another perspective, and that is in relation to the concept of sustainability and going green, coexisting with the natural environment. We have very limited space in Hong Kong. In order to take forward high-quality development of the A&F industries, we need to change three things. And that is, we should not just consider land as a tool for crop production. We should instead plan for eco-infrastructure for our urban environment so that it can be the ground for absorbing rainwater and providing relief and habitat for different varieties. For example, in Yunlong, in Tun Shui Wai, we should restore the original wetland so as to create paddy fields for producing high quality crops, because these farm sites can help provide a buffer. The next point is to take forward the large-scale land disposal approach and create eco-corridors. We have fish ponds and farm sites. And then, for example, in Campton, we also have big farms. On this corridor, we can encourage farmers to adopt an eco-friendly approach so that we can have, say, aquaponics and other agricultural farms to produce quality seafood. The third suggestion is to set up KPIs for quality yields. For example, the government can provide awards for the design of high quality, high yield production to help improve the branding of the industries. We can also make use of farmland to organize arts and cultural activities. We can have eco tours to fish ponds. In fact, Singapore calls itself the Garden City. The farming industry is part of the eco environment. For example, in the Bay Area of Singapore, they make use of rooftops of car parks and buildings for large-scale harvesting of rainwater and installation of solar panels. They have urban farms with composting, of making use of food waste. The government also reserves a higher greening ratio for urban farming to be practiced. The other example is something championed by a Japanese lady. This is recognized by the United Nations. The core of this concept is to have eco-friendly landscaping so that we can have coexistence between biodiversity and aquaculture, human and nature, so that there'll be a harmonious coexistence. And in taking forward development, we will not compromise the natural environment, and will also be able to preserve culture and maintain an eco balance. We can leverage on smart and modernized technologies to practice sustainable management and sustainable use of resources, even revitalizing the rural environment. These will serve important reference as we take forward the Northern Metropolis development, especially on preserving the natural landscape and environment. In order to take forward high-quality development of the A&F industries, we need to let people feel our efforts, and that means when they leave home, they'll be able to enjoy the scent of flowers, they'll be able to touch the healthy soil on the ground, and this is what high-level, high-quality development is about, and this is what the National 15th Five-Year Plan entails. I so submit. President, I speak in support of Mr. Chan Pok-chi's motion and the other members' amendments. We need to dovetail with the National 15th Five-Year Plan. We need to drive the A&F industries towards high-quality development. This is the crux of the motion. Food security and food safety are crucial to national security. They are also closely related to people's livelihood. The National 15th Five-Year Plan proposes enhancing the composite productivity of the agricultural industry and to take forward green development of the fisheries industry. We also need to empower the A&F industries through technologies and digitalization. We need to integrate into our country's development plan, and that means we need to upgrade and transform our A&F industries as well, leveraging technology. And we need to modernize the industries. When it comes to poultry, we supply about 15,000 live chickens to our local market. So for a 4-person household, we allow 1 live chicken per 1,000 families. Now, if we adopt a vertical husbandry approach for the keeping of poultry, that means we can enhance the quality of living by providing more live chickens to families instead of having them resorting to chilled and frozen products. We have about 6,000 hectares of active farmland. We have about 275 organic farms providing local produce to the market. That's about 1.8%. As for local seafood consumption, that stands at about 20%. So our industries work on a very small scale. Should there be a abrupt disruption to our supply chain, such as a pandemic or a war, that means it will be very crucial that we preserve our food supply chain. According to the National 15th Five-Year Plan, we need to take forward development of aquaculture zones and blue, which serves as a blue food storage of our country. Now, in Mirs Bay and Wong Chuk Hoi, the government has set up new demonstration fish culture zones spanning 590 hectares. That's 3 times the existing areas of the zone. By 2027, the production volume is expected to reach 1,200 hectares, and then the Sustainable Fisheries Development Fund also provides subsidies for the industry to procure smart water quality monitoring system and automated feeding devices, and also deep sea cages running on renewable energy, which can help with the development of new fry stocking and also processing facilities for local oysters and grey mullets. In Tung Lung Island in Sai Kung, there is a similar facility. Now, in Santien Technopole, my suggestion is to set up a research center so that we collaborate with the Greater Bay Area and the Guangdong Province in further developing deep sea cage agriculture technology with the use of AI. The 15th Five-Year Plan also proposes strengthening the tracing of food origin. The AFCD is preparing to launch the unified brand for local produce with certification and origin tracing functions. Now, the government should implement this initiative as quickly as possible so that by scanning the QR code, members of the public will see the origin of, say, a fish or vegetables, so that when properly certified, these products will give us greater confidence. For quality products, they can sell at a better price. This will help increase income for farmers and fishermen. There should be a mutual recognition of standards with Greater Bay Area cities. We should also streamline the procedures for exporting food so that we can tap the international market. Does any other member wish to speak? If not, Mr. Chan Pok-chi, you may now speak on the amendments. Thank you. Madam President, I thank the 2 members for moving amendments to the original motion. They further enrich my original motion with their views. They also further elucidate how we drive the A&F industries towards high-quality development. I fully support these amendments. Mr. Jonathan Leung refers to the stable supply of food ingredients at reasonable prices and of a quality that meets safety standards. This echoes my original motion. Hong Kong is highly reliant on imported food. The local A&F industries operate on a very small scale, but they are of strategic significance. In the past few years, the global supply chain was subject to various blows because of the pandemic and extreme weather, as well as geopolitical tensions. We need to diversify and mitigate risks. if we're able to modernize the A&F industries through technology by, say, introducing smart agriculture technologies, precision farming, we'll be able to set up a very good gatekeeper, and then we can also break barriers such as improving the quarantine and certification arrangements with Guangdong province, so that we can offer more choices for members of the public, and that through healthy market competition we can lower the price of such produce. Now, we need to generate value for the industries. We should also ensure food security. Mr. Aaron Bok refers to grasping the opportunity presented by the development of the Northern Metropolis and the establishment of Sampleshire Wetland Conservation Park, and also practicing ecotourism and recreational fisheries in the fish ponds and wetlands within the area. I thank Mr. Aaron Bok for enriching the content of my motion, because he explains how nature conservation and modernized A&F industrial development can coexist in a harmonious manner. There are fish ponds and wetlands in the new territories that provides a breeding ground and habitat for migratory birds. There is biodiversity, and that will further enhance the function of aquaculture. Fish ponds will no longer be just a ground for primary production. It will also provide habitats for migratory birds and other aquatic species. This is the way to go for high quality, high priced products. This will also provide a stable stream of income for local fishermen. We can also combine recreational fishing with ecotourism. For example, we allow visitors to observe the migratory birds as well as the traditional fish catching techniques nearby. This can help create jobs and provide better experience for tourists. It will also enhance the public's knowledge on wetland conservation and food supply. Now, this is an important mission. The A&F industries are tasked to ensure food security and maintain stable supply of food. And through technology, we can drive the development of the industries. We can also collaborate with Guangdong province to ensure that food is supplied at reasonable prices. This can bring economic benefit to Hong Kong. This can also be an opportunity for us to educate the future generations. So I urge members to support all the amendments which enrich my original motion, so that we can urge the government to implement these initiatives in the upcoming 5-year plan.
Secretary of Environment and Ecology. President, once again, I thank Mr. Chan Pok-chi for moving this motion. I also thank Mr. Jonathan Leung and Mr. Aaron Bok for their amendments, as well as all members for their further views on promoting the developments of the A&F industries. The National 15th Five-Year Plan has charted a course for Hong Kong's high-quality developments. Members' proposals are in full alignment with the government's policies. We are endeavoring to develop the local A&F industries as a primary industry, while supporting the trade to expand their trade to secondary and third industries, including food processing, retail, leisure, culture, and tourism, to enhance the overall value added to the industries as a whole and forging new growth points. I will now give consolidated replies on several aspects. First of all, driving the modernization of the A&F industries with technologies. We're actively helping the trade to apply new technologies, as well as modernized production approach. First, urban farming. The first urban farming project has been commissioned successfully at Sai Sao Road Garden in Ma On Shan in last October. Riding on the successful experience, we will launch more pilot programs. We expect to establish a hydroponic farm on the rooftop of the Tianshui public market under construction to introduce the concept of harvest to sale. 2. Modernized livestock farming. In the second quarter this year, we will select an operator for building the first multi-story modernized eco-friendly pig farm in Changshui. Site formation work is expected to complete within the year, and the farm will be commissioned by 2032. 3. Smart aquaculture. The FCD has deployed modernized technologies, including automated feeders as well as real-time water quality monitor in new fish culture zones. At the same time, we have introduced the smart aquaculture management platform at the Outer Pond Fish Culture Demonstration Zone, which has enabled the use of remote real-time precision control as well as AI analysis. In terms of financial support, the Sustainable Development Fund for Agriculture and Fisheries Development have seen remarkable results. By 2025, an accumulated amount of $600 million of funding has been approved, benefiting some 6,200 fishermen and farmers. The scope of the Fisheries Fund is wide, including introduction of new culture technologies, enhancing and training talents, building and promoting brands, as well as purchasing advanced equipment, including water quality monitoring equipment, auto feeder, solar-powered solar generators, as well as aerators, to support the transformation of businesses. At the same time, the fund also supports modernized deep-sea mariculture projects in the 3 new fish culture zones to promote upgrading of the trade. For the agricultural part of the fund, approved projects include organic farm produce accreditation system, training and promotion, precision nutrition strengthening technologies for hydroponic organisms, as well as tracing and accreditation system, as well as on-site veterinary consultation services at farms. The fund also supports farmers to purchase and apply modernized and mechanized equipment, including plowing and mowing machines, irrigation systems, and trellis frames to enhance productivity. At the same time, the government also managed 6 loan funds in relation to the A&F industries through the AFCD as well as the fish marketing and vegetable marketing organizations to provide low interest rate loans for the industries to support their development. Promoting market connectivity as well as collaboration in A&F in the Bay Area. To achieve high-quality growth, we will deepen our collaboration with mainland provincial governments as well as R&D bodies to introduce cutting-edge technologies in Hong Kong. Since 2019, the FCD has signed the Cooperation Framework Agreement with the Department of Agriculture and Rural Affairs of the Guangdong Province. In recent years, we have signed MOUs with mainland bodies, including the Chinese Academy of Tropical Agricultural Sciences, which has laid solid foundation for collaboration. And also, we will promote commerce collaboration of A&F products across the border. By the middle of this year, we will launch the new unified branch for our produce, and we will enhance the visibility of our products in the mainland through the Shenzhen International Fisheries Expo in July, as well as the Shanghai International Fisheries Expo in August, and the Qingdao China International Fisheries Expo in October to corner the market. And also, during the Food Expo in August this year, we will organize large-scale exchange sessions with the HKTDC to help local and mainland quality A&F products to go global. Creating an eco-friendly and high value-added local A&F industry system. We have been encouraging the trade to adopt eco-friendly and high value-added operation model. For example, we have been helping conventional fishermen to migrate to aquaculture. We will also establish an eco-friendly culture demonstration zone in the Sanpushi Wetland Conservation Park, equipped with container eco-culture system. We will also provide opportunities for fishermen's bodies to be involved in the development of the trade to achieve win-win for the nature and the fisheries industry. We will also help the transitioning of traditional farming to hydroponic farming while introducing new species. Now, the Agric Enjoy and Fish Enjoy schemes have attracted 180 fish farms and farms to participate. The FCD will continue to enhance the schemes while removing red tapes to facilitate the expansion of the industries into leisurely activities as a supporting business to expand the source of income. At the same time, the FCD is now identifying and integrating the leisure, fisheries, and agricultural resources in different districts to design experiential itineraries combining eating, playing, buying, and learning. Food security and food supply stability. Ensuring food security and stable supply of food is the core duties of the SAR government. The Center for Food Safety under the FEHD has been adopting a risk-based approach in the selection of food samples for testing at import, wholesale, and retail levels. Since we heavily rely on imported food, we have maintained close contact with major food suppliers as well as wholesalers and retailers to tap the pulse of the market. When necessary, we will adopt measures to ensure food supply stability. At the same time, the FCD has maintained close contact with the tenants in the 4 fresh food wholesale markets it manages to ensure smooth operation. At the same time, we are promoting the farm-to-table cooperation model. We are encouraging local catering businesses, hotels, and schools to procure quality, safe, and low-carbon local products. Now, through the establishment of the new brand, we will enhance the connectivity between the producers and the markets to build a healthy industry chain. President, the government will continue to work with the trade to implement the measures under the Sustainable Development Blueprint for agriculture and fisheries. We will provide technical and financial support to help the trade transition from the conventional model to a modernized, intensified, and high-quality sustainable development model. We will help the trade to integrate into the GBA blueprints and fully align with the National 15th Five-Year Plan's overall objective to enhance the overall productivity of the A&F industries. I so submit. Thank you.
I now call upon Mr. Jonathan Leung to move an amendment. Mr. Jonathan Leung. President, I move my amendment. I propose a question to you that the amendment moved by Mr. Jonathan Leung be passed. I now put the question to you as stated. Will members please proceed to vote? Members, please press the present button. Will those in favor please raise their hands? Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by majority of each of the 2 groups of members present, that is, those returned by the EC and those returned by FCs and GCs. I declare the amendment passed. Mr. Aaron Bog, as the previous amendment has been passed, you may move your amendment. President, I move my further amendment. I propose the question to you that the further amendment moved by Mr. Aaron Bog be passed. I now put the question to you as stated. Will members please proceed to vote? Members, please press the present button. Will those in favor please raise their hands? Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by majority of each of the 2 groups of members present, that is, those returned by the election committee and those returned by the FCs and GCs. I declare the amendment passed. Mr. Aaron Bog, you have 1 minute 2 seconds to reply, then the debate will come to a close. Mr. CHAN Pok-chi. Thank you. President, 30 members have spoken today. I thank them for their invaluable insight. When it comes to driving the A&F industries towards high-quality development, I see there is consensus in this council, and that is we should continue with our good efforts. The A&F industries form an important pillar for ensuring food security, nature conservation, and revitalizing the urban economy. As we continue to face global competition, we need to adopt high-end, high technology so as to create value. We need to transform and upgrade the industries. And when it comes to high-quality development, we need government's policy support. We also need funding and efforts from the academic sector, the industrial sectors, so that we can make these industries an important pillar to support our people in the Greater Bay Area. I so submit. Your time is up. And I'll put the question to you that the motion moved by Mr. Chan Pok-chi, as amended by Mr. Jonathan Leung and Mr. Aaron Bob, be passed. Will members please proceed to vote? Members please press the present button. Will those in favour please raise their hands? Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by a majority of each of the two groups of members present. That is, those returned by the EC and those returned by GCs and FCs. I declare the motion as amended passed.
Members' motion